Now, a few weeks ago, I spent time with a survivor of an acid attack, Malik, and today we're going to bring our viewers her story. I mean, it's a really sad, story of just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Every time I talk about acid attacks, it's usually personal. Someone you're in a relationship with and they're trying to control you. But her case was very unique. She just went to braid her hair, and the acid was actually meant for the hair braider. She just happened to open the door, and the girl, poured the acid on her, and it's changed her life completely because she was the breadwinner of her family. So we have two parts of that story. The first one is us going to her house, meeting her, finding out exactly what happened to her, and then the second part is us going with her to the hospital to see exactly what's wrong with her and the work that needs to be done.
Wow.
So we'll take a look at the first part where we went to Maimuna Malik's house and then continue the conversation.
So when I opened the door, the other lady pushed the door and threw the acid.
Maimuna Malik had aspirations of owning a salon one day. She always desired to help women look beautiful and feel very confident.
I went to learn hairdressing.
Despite growing up poor and having to care for her sick mother, Maimuna believed that her family could rise out of poverty if she traveled out of the country.
Life was not easy at all because my mom too was sick. So I have to take care of my mom. We are two, but my sister, a whole lot. So I'm the one who is taking care of my mom. I wanted to open a big salon. Yeah, that is why I traveled to Saudi to find money and come back and open a salon.
Everything seemed to be going as planned until the unfortunate happened.
In the morning, I worked. I cleaned the house, I did everything. So my mother paid me. She gave me my money. So I called a driver. So I told my mother, I'm going, but I will come back 3 days' time. She said, okay. So when I was going, I told the driver, I will go back 3 days' time, so let me go and dress my hair. So when I get home, I will sleep. Tomorrow, I won't go to anywhere, so that 3 days' time, I can return to my workplace. So I went inside. It was a week. So I said, I don't need this color, I want this color. We started braiding the hair. When we heard someone, so the girl said, Aisha, please, I heard someone was knocking the door. And he said, Maimuna, please open the door for me. Because he was eating. And but the lady does not know that it was the lady who he has the agreement with. The lady thought it was somebody who is coming to also do braid her head. So when I opened the door, the other lady pushed the door and threw the acid. Sorry. That was my end. My eyes was like this. So the doctor said they can't. So we went to the general hospital. So they said, I don't have papers too. When we get there, the nurses said unless police come and read statements before they will treat me. So the police come and said, what happened? And I explained. I told them what happened. When I get to the hospital, I can't see. So the doctors came and said, the left eye, they said they have to close it. And I said, no problem, but this one, they can treat it, but this one, they have to close it. I said, no problem. So the next day, they closed this one. And they sent me inside theater and operate on this one.
After months of not seeing her face, Maimuna finally could see herself in the mirror.
When I was the hospital, I started touching my face. So I did like this. I said, there's nothing here. I did like this, and that time I can't see. And I said, oh, then it is not bad. And I look at myself in the mirror. easy.
Being an illegal immigrant, Maimuna did not qualify for further surgeries.
When the doctors told me, we have to discharge you, we can't operate on you, I said, okay. So when I got home, called my friend and said, they said they can't do anything about it again. So is that how I'm going to live? How am I going to start? Because I was not like this. How am I going to start? Where? What work will I do? How would people see me? And my friend said, God is in control.
Although she survived the attack, she had to deal with being ostracized by society.
The whole people talk to you, it will let you feel bad for you to do something bad to yourself. I wanted to kill myself. Children sees me, Kaka Motobi. Like, when someone sees me, Jesus, like, it's not easy. It's not easy. But when I think of my mom, I have to live and see what Allah have for me.
Maimuna desires to get treated. Unfortunately, the lack of funds to pay for reconstructive surgery may render her permanently disfigured.
Now what I need is, if I will get a doctor, my nose is the important thing because I can't breathe. I have to open my mouth like this before I can. If I close my mouth like this, then I'm dying. I can't breathe, and the left eye is not easy. It's not easy, especially my chest. So I'm scared maybe I can get cancer or something because the breast is something else.
Since she is the breadwinner of her family, they do not know how to survive without her.
Inti dan me friend was and I say who and every hour when he bet you me that can. SMS me ni ejuma, me ni kuno. Me so say dan na me.
Maimuna strongly believes that once she undergoes reconstructive surgery, she will be able to work and support her family.
I can do anything, but I can't work with this face. People will not come. If I'm selling, if I have a supermarket, who will come? They can't send their children to that place because of my face. So now my focus is on the surgery. If I have the surgery, I can do anything because I'm not sick. It's only my face and my chest.
Maimuna's mother pleads with us to help her daughter as she is the only hope of the family.
Kakra obia onfa mboa me na ontimi nsese me ban ma me na onu nso ontimi nwura nnepam ese me ni ahonde me ni bia mbetimi ahwe ne ena abusian mkura ebi ni ho nti Ghana for Christian for Muslim abusi bia ebeka na kuma bia omboa me na omuntimi mfanhwe me ban ma me.
Wow, my goodness. Actually, I don't know how you sat through that interview. I don't know. It's truly unfortunate.
Yeah.
I think, I'm trying to picture myself as she was telling her story, how I'm just trying to imagine you're going about your day, very normal day. I'm going to get a haircut. You open the door, and suddenly I get this thing coming in my direction, and it changes my life forever. Yeah. There's nothing you can do right now that would bring her back to, what she was before. Yeah. Wow. Even the visuals are difficult to look at.
And that's the reality.
What was going through your mind as you sat there? I mean, I know you've worked on this story for quite a while, but as you sat there the first time with her, what was going through your mind? I
just thought she was so bold because she's my age mate. We're age mates, to travel out of the country in your early 20s to, want to get a better life for your mother. She has a 9-year-old daughter as well.
Okay.
And your daughter, and everything is going as planned. You have a job, you're saving up, and just this one day. And there's a longer version of it where she actually narrates when on their way to the hairdresser's house, the driver missed the spot multiple times. And she kept on saying, no, this is where I'm going. There was even a time when the driver brought her back to her house. And he said, no, take me to the hairdresser's place. I want to get my hair done.
Yeah.
So you go to get your hair done, and then this happens. And that's not even the worst part. After the incident happened, 3 hospitals turned her away because she was an illegal immigrant and she couldn't afford to pay for her health care by herself. So she now had to go to the police station to write a report before the hospitals, treated her.
Yeah.
And you can imagine acid on your face for almost 1 hour because you're an illegal immigrant. And then after they did the first treatment, she couldn't afford the rest. Even her plane ticket back to Ghana, someone had to help her pay for it so that she can come back home. And from her mom's side, your daughter is going abroad, everybody's child travels, they come back, build houses, do this. Your child is coming back home with an acid attack. Yeah. And she's the breadwinner of the family. What are you guys going to do? But what I love about Maimuna is she's so fearless.
Yeah, she seems so bold and
as
so
I was
courageous.
sitting there with her, I'm like, if that had happened to me, I would just crawl under my bed and hide. I wouldn't even have the courage to share my story because she's not even received the right, psychological treatment that she needs. So having to revisit this incident over and over and over again and being your own advocate that I need to be healed because as it stands now, she can't breathe through her nose. Wow. So when she sleeps, she always has to wake up because she's breathing through her mouth. If she stops breathing through her mouth, she can die.
Can die, of course.
So after the report,
that's difficult, man.
It's crazy. The only thing she wanted when we first spoke to her was, I just want to know what exactly is wrong with me medically and what it would take for me to be able to breathe again, for me to be able to see properly, for my mouth to be properly fixed. So we took her to the reconstructive plastic surgery and burns unit at Kolebu. And Dr. Alpokwa Rampoma, helped us find out exactly what was wrong with her. So I think we should take a look at our trip to Kolebu with Maimuna. But as we're doing that, it's really...
I think viewers should share with us their thoughts and their feelings as they're watching this right now. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily, and the WhatsApp line is 0550 585832. All right. If you're outside the country and you're also watching, kindly prefix that with +233. A very difficult story to watch. Very difficult story.
And I mean, she's just 29. She has her whole life ahead of her. And sometimes, especially when it comes to survivors of acid attack, the kind of stigma they face alone will incident define who they become for the rest of their lives.
Absolutely.
She tells stories of her best friends coming to visit her, and they see her and they're like, hey, and a friend actually told her that, girl, no, she would have been better off killing you if you are going to look like this. Wow. And this is someone who cares about her and is coming from a good place. But then she's like, Jifa, when I'm home on my own, I look in the mirror and I ask myself, is it really that bad? Is it really that bad? Should I just die? Because what's the point of surviving this if children are going to make fun of me? What's the point of going through this that so many people will die from if I won't get a job? I'm a hairdresser. Who will sit down for me to do their hair anymore? There's nothing wrong with me. I can walk. My hands are functioning well. I can think. Just because of this wound on my face, I've been scarred for life. How am I going to take care of my 9-year-old daughter? I'm going to take care of my mom. And she just wants her life back. No,
but it takes us into the deeper conversation about who we are as a people, and what it is that we are our level of emotional intelligence, our ability to empathize and work with people in their difficult moments, things that we don't necessarily understand. I'm not sure exactly what it is that, we need to do as a society for people to start thinking correctly and thinking the right way, because we should be encouraging her, we should be supporting her, we should be emotionally giving her backup, so that she doesn't feel like she's all alone. But here's a case where, in her best expectations of humanity, she's being failed, where her best friends are coming to her and they are treating her like they've never known her. This scary caricature of life that they've never known her. But the real person is there. You know her. She's your friend. But because of a wound on her face, which is through no fault of hers, we now, back off. And this thing where we don't reprimand children for mocking and for laughing, and we make children feel as if that's the normal thing to do, because when the children start to laugh, the adults join in and laugh along. And that's for children, the initial reaction is instinctive, but when adults are there, why are the adults not correcting their children? Because then what happens is that they will grow up thinking this is normal. Anybody with a disability or a deformity in any shape or form should be mocked at, and that's just wrong. There's something wrong with that kind of thinking.
Yeah, and all Maimuna wants now is to get her life back. She's 29. She wants to own a salon. She wants to help people look their best, and I don't think that we should allow her give up on that dream because of this one incident. It could have happened to any one of us, and she's so fearless, she's so brave to even say, listen, I'm going to share my story. I want to be fixed, because as it stands now, as I mentioned earlier, she can't breathe through her nose. And if you've ever attempted to go for 10 minutes without breathing through your nose, you will see how difficult it is. Try sleeping tonight without breathing through your nose and see how you would have to wake up almost every 30 minutes because you have to be conscious of breathing through your mouth. One eye has been completely shut, and we don't know what's going to happen to the other eye because it's still not stable currently. Her mouth is disfigured. Some of the acid fell on her chest. She even shared a story about when she came back to Ghana at the airport, the little camera thing that's supposed to pick your face for the people there to know that you are the person in your passport. It couldn't pick her face because of the acid attack. So they now had to take her to a room, strip her naked to see that, okay, it is actually you. And for any woman at all, and even a Muslim woman at that,
that's humiliating.
Having to go through this because of something that was still no fault of yours. And her mom was like, I was just talking to her 2 days ago, and I kept thinking, did she really need to get her hair done? What exactly was she trying to do that she went to do this that has happened? But the most important thing is she's alive. She survived. She didn't allow it, beat her down or define who she became. She still wants to go ahead and be a mother to her daughter. She still wants to go ahead and help her mom, who already has a lot of illnesses that she needs help, and she wants to go on to achieve her dreams. All she's asking for is for all of us to do the little we can to help her get the surgery that she needs so that she can get her life back. And I think if we all contributed the little that we can afford, we can all be proud that in spite of this very terrible incident, when she needed us the most, we all got up and did the best we could to help her reclaim her life. There's
some messages coming from Facebook. I'll just read a few of them. Doris Osei says, wow, this is sad. Yes, it's sad indeed. Marison Carson says, so sad. Fifi Alonso says, #stop stigma. Abdul Rahim Oga says, very pathetic. Rejoice Ofori says, very bad. A couple more messages. Rejoice Ofori again is saying, oh, beautiful lady like that. Hey, so sad. Allah is with you. Why? And then Matiti Aisha says, Subhan Allah, may Allah heal you. Thank you. And keep your messages coming through. Yeah. Jifa. I don't know what to think and to say. It's just, it's difficult. Yeah. And I think that there's one side that is assisting her through her difficult time and making sure that she's able to live some kind of a semblance of a normal life. Yeah. But then I'm also very passionate about the whole other side of the conversation where how do we treat people, you know, who look different from us, who are going through difficulties, who have deformities or disabilities? How do we treat them as a people? You know, what is our instinctive reaction? For me, that's even more critical, you know, because sometimes you find people making jokes, and they're very comfortable making jokes about deformity, and I don't understand that. Yeah. You know, that's for me, that's difficult. Yeah, that's difficult for me, and I'm looking at her, and I wish I had all the money in the world, just solve the problem, you know, as quickly as possible. But yeah, this is difficult.
We want to return to the hospital. We'll try and get you guys that report tomorrow. And the doctor said it's all hope is not lost. You know, she may not be able to get the full face back the way it was, but at least she'll be able to breathe through her nose again. She'll be able to, you know, the one eye that keeps going up and down will be able to be fixed. Okay. Her mouth will be able to work. They can get rid of the spots on her chest because that's also bothering her a lot. So all hope is not lost yet.
That's good.
You know, the team over there, Kolebu Reconstructive Plastic Surgery and
Brains
Unit,
really
they are the
team.
best we have in the country and even in the region.
Yeah.
So all hope is not lost. But I think we should all take a cue from Emuna's experience to, one, know that anytime you see someone with any form of disability, it could have been you. It could have happened to you. And if it had happened to you, how would you want people to react? I don't want to step in here tomorrow and Doji is afraid to look me in the eye because I look different, because I'm still Jifa. It's just an acid attack that happened to me, and that really should be a footnote in the rest of the chapters that I'm going to write in the book of my life.
Absolutely.
That shouldn't be the one thing that would permit people to discriminate against me, to you know, and you know, let people decide to not hire me, because there are companies out there who will go out their way to say, I'm going to employ this person because I know that it's through no fault of theirs. You know, and we need to get to a place in society where we say, we're going to protect this girl. Yeah, she's ours. You know, it's bad enough that Saudi Arabia, 3 hospitals turned her away. It's bad enough that she had to even leave this country, because if her economic state here was any good, she wouldn't have left in the first place. At your early 20s, you shouldn't have to deal with the burden of caring for your mother and your daughter. You know, that shouldn't push you to go elsewhere to work as a help. You know, so we as a country have also failed her. We owe some responsibility to what happened to her, because if we had provided some sort of social services for young girls like her who had to drop out of school at the JHS level for her to get back on her feet, she wouldn't have ended up in Saudi Arabia. This wouldn't have happened. And she's come back now. She can still contribute a lot to this country. And we shouldn't allow her lose sight of those dreams and aspirations because this happened.
I think it's so important. I mean, the things you said, particularly the fact that we owe her a responsibility. And I don't know if the authorities feel what we're feeling here right now, but if you permit someone by dint of circumstance, the inability to financially and economically take care of themselves, to go out of the country to seek that, capacity, then this happens to them because they've gone. The least that can happen is to say, listen, where is she? Let's pay her bills. Yeah. Let's get the best doctors to work on her. Let's pay her bills. Let's give her at least a certain semblance of normality. Yeah. We can't bring her back to pre-acid attack days, but at least give her something that she can live a reasonably normal life again. I think that's only fair to ask.
Because all she's asking, there are people in this world who will be on disability checks for the rest of their lives. She's not asking for that. She's not asking for handouts. She's saying, I still want to be able to work
and pay my own way through life. I still want to pay my way through life. Yeah. I don't want to depend on anyone. Yeah. I don't even want to be a victim anymore. I'm a survivor. Help me get back on my feet. So to all of our viewers, not just policymakers, but if you're touched by her story and you want to help, this is her calling out to you to help her get back on her feet. Yeah. So Samuel Apia from Takoradi says, I'm watching you live from Takoradi. This story just broke my heart. Is there any way we can donate to get her life back? Yeah. Well,
we'll be sending the donation numbers to our viewers shortly. But thank you guys so much for staying with us for this segment of Breakfast Daily. We're going to bring you the trip to Kolebu tomorrow as well, so that you know exactly what happened. But we do have a packed show. So
yes, we have Consumer Tech segment. We're going to be discussing some very interesting things there. Okay. And of course, News Review is up next as well.
Yes, and of course, we have Hello, Mr. President as well. So you don't want to miss all the exciting conversations we'll have. My name is Jifai Kiam.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
News Reviews next. We will be right back.
Extra data, extra minutes, and extra unlimited calls. Not just that, even our extra data doesn't expire. See the film? Simply dial *111# to bundle now.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
I got some money, but I ain't giving it to you. I got some money, but I ain't giving it to you. Ora tachele ora tachele.
There is nothing as hard as a diamond. For buildings with superior strength that withstand all weather conditions, Diamond Cement should be your preferred choice. Locate Diamond Cement nationwide with factories in Aflao, Takrady, and Bupe. Diamond Cement, as hard as a diamond.
Comprehensive news. The City Newsroom at 8 p.m. on City TV is your most engaging news bulletin on TV.
It's a very that's too bad. The youth are still throwing stones. They are still throwing stones here into our direction. And can I come in? I want to come in. Okay.
Telling your stories better with correspondents covering every corner of the country.
Getting access to potable water is a daily struggle for residents of Kakichakopi and Balekopi communities in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region.
City Newsroom at 8 p.m. Very fluent with issues that concern you.
This inquiry me come from Mr. Rabbi. Someone is in a bread. Told you kind of make 1 week. What are you say?
Is it unfair? What all this? What all this? We are dying! We are dying! We are dying for chocolate!
With City Newsroom, your community is now connected.
In this our community, all of us, we are very sorry of the school. If we went and see the children, they are so small. Even my grandchildren are there. My grandsons are there. If they come out from the school, I have to be easy.
Every day at 8 p.m., City Newsroom is live on City TV.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. We'll take a look at our newspaper headlines, then some online stories, and then we'll introduce our guest who are already seated here with us. Let's start off with the Daily Graphic. On the front page of the Daily Graphic, we have standoff at Tema Port. Port workers, Marine unit disagree over container vessels. That story is on page 13. 33,367 to serve as registration centers. Exercise takes place in 5 phases. That story is on page 3. We'll now take a look at the Chronicle. GPHA workers block vessels from entering Tema Port as tug operators embark on Aluta. Story on pages 2 and 3. We'll now take a look at the Ghanaian Times. COVID-19 fight. We are well prepared for reopening of SHS in the eastern region. Heads assure of their readiness. That story is on page 11. NHIA boss tests positive for COVID-19. That story is on page 11. Evacuation of stranded Ghanaians abroad. 1,100 land in Accra from different destinations across the world. That story is on page 12. COVID-19. Konfanochi Teaching Hospital orders doctors, nurses at ICU to self-quarantine for 14 days. We'll now take a look at the New Crusading Guide. On the front page of the New Crusading Guide, we have trouble looms at Ridge Hospital. Management sued for 5 million Ghana cedis over wife baby's death. Story on pages 3 and 10. Adapt to new life under COVID-19. C4C CEO to students. We'll now take a look at our final newspaper, The Finder. On the front page of The Finder, we have airlifting of Ghanaians stranded abroad. 1,056 home, 603 coming from today to Sunday. That's coming from Shirley Ayoko Botre, who's the foreign minister, and that story is on page 2. Noguchi gets 10,000 test kits from Ghana COVID-19 private sector fund. That story is on page 8. Ghana's COVID-19 case count now 12,193. That story is on page 8 of the Finder. We'll now take a look at some online stories, starting with citynewsroom.com. I'll repay 51 million debt within 2 months if my shares are unfrozen. That's coming from Woyome. I'll receive financial support from churches, mosques, others to survive. That's Woyome again speaking on Face-to-Face last night. EC to exhibit biometric devices on Thursday ahead of registration exercise. Government response to claim coronavirus death figures are being massaged. NHIA CEO Lydia Janice Selby tests positive for coronavirus. We'll now take a look at some business news from citybusinessnews.com. GCAA loses 95% revenue due to airport closure to international passenger service. Banks withstand COVID-19 shocks. SDIs hit hard, BOG report. GRA Finance Ministry inaugurate tax audit and quality assurance units to check corruption. Pakwesi Anamwasechi writes, fuel price increases, who is to be blamed? Passage of CIMG Act will sanitize marketing profession in Ghana, CIMG president. When I take a look at some more local news from myjoyonline.com, about 200 staff of Kwadaso SDA hospital being tested after medical director died of COVID-19. May his soul rest in peace. When I take a look at some global news from bbcnews.com, Africa Live, Lagos suspends reopening of places of worship. Of course, you can get all of your news from citynewsroom.com and all of your business news from citybusinessnews.com. Now it's an interactive show, so if you're watching us on Facebook, you can comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. I have been joined by Margaret Anse Mogo, who is who is a National Communications Team member of the NDC. Good morning, Margot.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Thank you so much for being with us.
And thanks for receiving me too.
We're going to have Loratu Musasaka join us via Zoom shortly, but I'll start out with Margaret. Is it okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. So we'll take a look at our first story. I'll be reading from citynewsroom.com, and it says, government response to claims coronavirus death figures are being massaged. So a few days ago, we heard from Occupy Ghana that government may be massaging the death figures. So I'll start with the Occupy Ghana story and then government's response. So the Occupy Ghana story on City Newsroom says, Ghana's COVID-19 death figures are being massaged. Occupy Ghana suspects. Pressure group Occupy Ghana suspects government is underreporting Ghana's COVID-19 death toll. According to the group's officials of government in charge of managing of the COVID-19 information have not been truthful with Ghanaians in that regard. In a statement issued on Monday, June 15th, the group said the reported 54 deaths so far cannot be right. So I'm going to quote what they said. They said there is a cause to suspect that the death numbers are being massaged. The reported 54 deaths so far cannot be right. For instance, even though 38 deaths have been reported from the Ashanti region alone, less than 20 of those deaths are included in the national count. So I'm going to now read government's response. And that story is also on citynewsroom.com. It says, government response to claims coronavirus death figures are being massaged. The government has refuted suggestions that it is underreporting fatalities from the novel coronavirus after accusations by pressure group Occupy Ghana. So I'm going to quote what Dr. Patrick Kuma Abuaje, who is the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, said. Nobody is deliberately hoarding numbers. We know the situation reports are there, but there is a process because we aren't interested in just the numbers, but also validating and knowing what to do. As at when the case management team has a conference with the region, they will clear the numbers and then they will let us know. So that is what he's saying. He says we don't generate any figures from the policy level. The presidency doesn't generate figures. We see the figure as you have seen them. We then use the figures to plan and monitor whatever is going on. So this one now is from Dr. Anthony Insia Asari, who is the special advisor on health to the presidency. So the first one I read was from Dr. Kuma Bwaje, and then the one about the presidency from Dr. Insia Asari. Margaret, your thoughts on Occupy Ghana feeling as though they're figures, the death figures are being massaged, and government saying no, it's actually a process, and we have to do our checks before we report the deaths.
Okay. Good morning, Jifa, to yourself and your team, and a special good morning to your viewers. A beautiful good morning to Ghanaians, and as I always do, I represent a political party, and therefore it's due that I extend my regards to the leadership, the national executives, and the leader and flag bearer, an honest president in waiting, in person of John Dramani Mahama. A very special good morning to them. Yeah, if I would occupy Ghana, I think in the history of our Fourth Republic, this current government, and especially around this time, we are seeing a lot of pressure groups, civil societies, those that they didn't used to talk.
But Occupy Ghana, or Ghana always talks.
They didn't used to talk for government, and they were always on government during the Exwa Mahama's government. But now, we've seen that they are the current government that some section of Ghanaians thought that these pressure groups were their allies. They were conspiracy theories, you know. Now they are all coming against the government. And it is not just coming against the government, but they are all realizing that something is not right. And we are building a nation. Therefore, we need all these people to criticize holistically, not just making petty politics, but looking at the issues and thinking as Ghanaian, how to move the nation forward. And it is in the right direction. I commend them for that. They raise a lot of concerns. Aside, they suspecting the numbers are being massaged. They said in Ashanti region about 38 deaths is reported, and they feel like the overall government number of 58 is a bit suspicious. They also raise the concerns where health workers are contracting the virus by virtue of their duty, performing their duty towards patients. And there is a lack of PPEs, overall protective kits. They also raise a concern about students going back to school without testing. They looked at a broad scenario. And I expected that governments would take it one after the other and address the issue. In this time and season, we don't expect governments to take ad hoc measures or be doing panic reactions. What we expect government to do is to give us hope. These are the issues being raised by Occupy Ghana. As a government, you take it one after the other. This is where we are. These are our challenges. These are the bare facts. Then you address the issue. But you shouldn't just be quick to respond. Then in the end, it will be like you have done a course 90 job. Because the Occupy Ghana report was detailed. But when you look at government's response, it looks like they just brush off the issue. What Ghanaians are expecting is the COVID-19 is real. It has come to stay. How are we going about it? Be transparent with us.
But shouldn't government also do their due diligence before they come out to report to us that X number of people have died?
Aside the reports, there were other issues they raised.
Yes, but this is specifically responding to Occupy Ghana, accusing them of massaging the death figures. So they are saying that we need to, dot our I's and cross our T's before we come to the general public. Do you agree with government on that?
I don't expect government to rush in responding to such issues. I think if they are taking their time to give details, explain things, they could have done a better job. We shouldn't rush in responding to such issues because this is about the health status of the nation, not an individual. And COVID is spread through human interaction. the virus spreads as we engage. Therefore, it affects and concerns every individual, devoid of partisan colors or pressure group, whatever. So this is about human lives, health. Therefore, as a government that we have paid to take care of our health, to give us security, to give us assurance, should take its time and respond to issues. I think the government needs so much orientation on that. Trying to, maybe because we are in an election year, it's a government that is seeking re-election, but I will advise them, my humble opinion is that in issues like this is about the nation's health status. They should take their time and respond to issues and let Ghanaians explain. If you come to tell us that you have to do your due diligence, give us examples, this and this and this. Take us through the process. And Ghanaians will appreciate that. Because Occupy Ghana has its own right to suspect that if only in Ashanti region we have over 38 deaths, then you can't tell us that the total death of the nation combined, the 15 affected regions put together, that its total number is 58. The fact is a bit suspicious.
54, you mean?
54, yes. It's a bit suspicious.
Okay, let's hear from Laratu now. We've been joined by Laratu Musasaka, who's part of the National Communications team of the NPP. Good morning, Laratu.
Good morning, Jifa.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm good. Good morning to Margot. Margot has usual
I missed you.
propaganda and dishonest best.
Okay, so on Monday, Occupy Ghana said the government is massaging the death figures, and then government has come out to respond that they are not massaging, and there's a process to, finding out from the regions and then responding to the rest of the nation. Your thoughts on this?
Well, Jifa, for every government that is determined to change the lives of its citizens, you obviously have to listen and also pay attention to what citizens, should I say, complain or draw your attention to. And that's exactly what we are doing. Unfortunately for them, for the NDC, I think they can't deal with the fact that this government led by His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo is on top of the issues and always ready to explain the issues as they are and listen to citizens as against adopting the dead goat syndrome. Dealing with that, Occupy Ghana raised issues, and yesterday at the minister's regular press briefing, which obviously my sister Margot and his NDC are not following, addressed the issues that were put up by Occupy Ghana. And the main issue that they raised, the crux of the whole issue was government massaging figures. And this was addressed by no mean a person than the Director General for Ghana Health Service. This is the person leading the agency under the Ministry of Health that is in charge of our fight against COVID-19. And he explained, among other things, that, if anybody has stated the health system in this country, it moves from the sub-district level to the district level to the regional level and the national level. So obviously, information from the sub-district and even the community level, if I even want to go further down, the community level will go through the auditing process through the system. I can understand that Margot and the NDC are not so used to doing things systematically, but I think it's a new dawn in the country, and we all need to understand that things must be done systematically. We can't just get up and start pushing out figures from the national level without doing the proper auditing to be sure that, and that's what even goes, what we use even with prioritizing interventions in the country. So I think that the issue with Occupy Ghana has raised have been duly addressed, and I don't think we should, the NDC should make it one of their, they have too much time on their hands, and I think they should help with educating and sensitizing people on the havoc that COVID-19 can cause, as we are all aware. Look, let's even assume, without admitting, that the figures that are coming out have every institution will also admit that when it comes to these things, because it passes through a level of system, there's a certain margin of error. Nothing is perfect. We are not God. But let's even assume that what is coming out is not the reality. Does it take away the fact that COVID is in the nation? COVID is wreaking havoc in the world. Does it take away the fact that we need to protect ourselves? Does it take away the fact that we need to adhere to the enhanced hygiene protocols? Does it take away the fact that COVID is killing people? Even if we've put out one dead person, that is something we all need to worry about. That is something we all need to rally around as a nation. And the president, as time without number, said, this is a fight for all of us. So if you get an opposition party that will sit down rather than helping in the efforts, wants to punch holes in that, and whilst people are dying, what about the numbers for those recovering? What about the challenges we are having? We don't have a perfect situation. We don't have a perfect health system. This is an opposition that is touting themselves with unprecedented infrastructure in the health sector. Today we are all seeing it. We are all seeing it, but we are doing the best that we can do out of it. And I think that, fine, I mean, some of these issues should come up, but I think people should pay attention to the daily briefings that the president is leading. I mean, the kind of leadership the president is showing is something that they should be emulating. It's something that they and that is what gives the Occupy Ghana the confidence to come out and put out some of these things. And I think it has been addressed. Let's sensitize people. Stigmatization is becoming a big issue in the country.
Yes, but Laracho, these accusations... these accusations were not made by the opposition NDC. They were made by Occupy Ghana. So if there is any doubt that the government could be deceiving us and we have a false sense of confidence that we are beating this fight because the number of people dying are very low, shouldn't Ghanaians be worried? Is there an issue with the communication from the side of government, or what exactly needs to be fixed so that there's no doubt that the numbers we are being told are actually true?
Jifa, like I explained to you, the health system is built on structures from the lower level up to the national level, right? Up to the national releases information that comes from the lower levels. And national cannot just release information just because it's been presented. There needs to be a certain level of audit. And this doesn't even apply to only COVID. This is done for all the cases within the health sector. I mean, I can cite maternal deaths as when we're having issues with maternal mortality and all that. There are audit committees that audit some of these figures and all that. So for someone to, especially when we don't know, most of the people dying have underlying conditions. Some of these things need to be understood to understand how the kind of character the virus is taking before some of these figures are churned out. The situation reports are there, but the situation report needs to go through so that we can churn out figures to the nation that are real and can be dealt with. You just don't announce someone is dead without a postmortem, without going through all the issues. How are they able to come about with the cause of death when we know that most of the people dying have underlying conditions and not necessarily being killed by COVID?
Okay.
At the end of the day, for people who have diabetes or people who have asthma, for instance, is also has to do with respiratory issues, right? So once someone gets this COVID virus, eventually the immune system is down. Already the respiratory system has issues. So it will come with some of these things need to be interrogated thoroughly. But in fact, the crux of the matter is, even if, God forbid it, we have 100 people who are dead and there's 50 out there, does it take away the fact that we have a deadly virus on our hands? That's the issue we should be dealing with. I mean, we appreciate some of these, should I say, criticisms. We appreciate some of these bodies coming out. But the NDC should stop making unnecessary politics out of it. This is a deadly virus we have on our hands. It's not a joke. It's not a walk in the park. Let's all come around, sensitize people. Before, by the time we realize, stigmatization also takes a huge toll on us. Just a few days back, I heard a report of a gentleman who willingly came out at one of the briefings to educate Ghanaians and also assure Ghanaians that we are not totally hopeless. You can recover. And now his daughter, he had to change his daughter's name just for her to get admission into. Are these the things we want to be dealing with? You know, so let's all rally around the president. He's leading the way. Let's all rally around him. Let's sensitize people. The least opportunity we get, let's sensitize people. Let's be each other's keeper to make sure we win this against COVID.
Thank you very much,
right? All these things about lack, and I think, Margot, we don't have an issue of lack of PPEs. It's inadequate, right? People have PPEs, and these PPEs, some are disposable, some are reusable. Definitely, disposable PPEs will run out. That is why there's a number 311 with the Ministry of Information that you can call and complain about some of these things.
Thank you very much,
building a nation.
Larasu. Margaret, I'll allow you to respond, but we'll go for a quick break. This is still Breakfast Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is an interactive show. So if you're watching us on Facebook, you can comment down below. If you're on other social media platforms, the hashtag is Breakfast Daily. And if you want to reach us directly, our WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. We'll be right back.
Shop online, get free swipes, and enjoy greater security with a card that turns banking on its head. That's Africanacity. That's ABSA.
Daily on CCTV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It's an interactive show, so wherever you're watching us from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585832 to contribute to the conversation. If you're outside Ghana, use the country code +233. Before the break, I was going to allow Margaret respond to the comments by Laratu that government is doing its best and we should focus on the pandemic at hand and not nitpicking the figures being massaged or not.
Thank you, Ifa. And I appreciate the fact that you drew her attention to the fact that Occupy Ghana is not an opposition political party. It's never been a political party. It's even been perceived that they are allies of the incumbent government. And she's asking us to trust the institutions, and isn't it the same institution who told us we had peaked when we were at 3,000? Today we are over 12,000.
They said we will peak if we did all the right things that we were supposed to do.
He said
so there was a condition if we do everything.
So it means that the government is not getting things right.
Not necessarily. It means maybe we are not doing what we should do.
Because this institution told us this when we were at 3,000. Now we are over 12,000. So if anyone or any group has a cause to be suspicious, There is nothing wrong with that. And she going about, I am not Occupy Ghana. So if she tries to respond to me or the NDC, there are lots of Ghanaians out there who is looking up to the government because we are paying the government to work. So if things are not going on right, we don't rubbish it and pretend as if all is well. No. COVID, as I said, it has no political affiliations. It doesn't look at colors. It affects every individual, irrespective of where you are coming from. So if we expect, and it is the right of the opposition and other pressure groups and civil society to put government on its toes. It is the MPP Nanado government which has a social contract with the citizens. We are paying him to work. Therefore, if they think that when things are going on, things are not going right, we should keep quiet and all put together sing their praises, they are mistaken. Then they don't even know why they are in government. We are paying them and we must correct them. It is our responsibility to criticize and draw their attention to the fact that we brought you guys in to work. That is why we are paying you. So if things are going wrong and we are adding our voice to Occupy Ghana, we've not done anything wrong. And she's saying we should be doing sensitization. Who said the NDC is not concerned? That's covered no any political affiliations. We are all involved. We are all concerned. That is why we even had a COVID team which suggested certain things to the government and later they took them, even though they rubbished it initially. So we are all involved in this fight. So the Loratu and the MPP should not see the NDC as an opposition because a fight for COVID is like the nation going to war. John Dramani Mahama will not separate NDC members and say that take this route, then another will separate his MPP. No, we move as a nation. So this is a collective responsibility. Therefore, the NDC as an opposition, we are not against the government doing its work, but we have a responsibility to criticize the government to do things right. That is why we pay them.
Okay, now just a little correction there. Just because we peaked does not necessarily mean that the numbers won't go up. And they did provide a condition that if we maintain all the things we're supposed to do, then the numbers won't go up.
So it means we are not doing what we are supposed to do.
Whichever way it is, we'll take a look at our second story now. Again, it's an interactive show. So wherever you're watching this from, use the hashtag Breakfast Daily and the WhatsApp line 0550-585-832. If you're outside Ghana, please use the country code +233. Laura, I'll allow you to respond, but we'll tie it into our second story, and it has to do with the NHIA CEO testing positive for coronavirus. So that story is also on citynewsroom.com, and it says that the NHIA CEO has officially tested positive for coronavirus. We know that last week the mayor for Secondary Takrady passed from the virus. Sunday we were informed that the health minister also has been tested positive for coronavirus, and now the NHIA CEO is also positive. Laura, to your thoughts on this?
Okay, Jifa. Obviously, with the correction you made, obviously, Mago has confirmed that the NDC doesn't read, and now they don't also listen. With the assertion on the
I think that's a bit of a stretch because everyone can interpret the information the way they want.
They need to pay attention. Come again?
No, I said that's a bit of a stretch. Everyone can interpret the information they are getting the way they want to interpret it.
Well, but that doesn't take away the fact that NDC has proved to everybody that they don't read. And now they are adding to the fact that they don't listen. Don't let us belabor it. They obviously don't listen. I made a point that we appreciate the concerns by Occupy Ghana. If we were not a listening government and didn't want people to help us in the nation building process, we won't respond to what Occupy Ghana came. We would have also adopted the dead goods syndrome and just kept mute on it. But this issue was addressed by the Director General of Ghana Health Service and thrown on it by the advisor to the president on these issues. So they need to pay attention to it. I was just making the point that they should stop making unnecessary politicking out of it. We are building a nation. We are not perfect. It's a human institution. there are certain things, and people will draw your attention to issues when they know you are steering off the cause that they know you for. We are doing well. People appreciate it, and they think we can do better, and they will help us with it.
Thank you very much. Now, the NHIA CEO.
The NHIA CEO, I mean, before I even go to that, I mean, we will just pay glowing tribute to the former mayor of Second D, Honorable Keke Sam. God bless his soul. He did a yeoman's job. He led the fight. He led very good initiatives in Second D, Takoradi Metropolis.
Hey, you should use my time.
We pray that God Almighty is pleased with his soul. I mean, with the NHI boss, just as the Minister of Health, we wish her well. I mean, she's done a good job leading us clean the roads under the supervision of the President and his able team at the Ministry of Health to clean the mess that the NDC left for us, the debts that's left. So if such a person is in that state now, we can only wish her well. She's in tune with the protocols. She knows what to do. Nobody knows how this virus operates. She puts in measures, but unfortunately, this has happened. We wish her well. We wish her speedy recovery. She'll get out of this and continue with the good job that she's doing.
Thank you very much, Larissa.
Yeah.
NHIA CEO.
Yeah. Last, I think on Monday, we also had the Second D Takoradi, Honorable Keke Sam. May his soul rest in peace, and I send my condolences to the family. As a former municipal chief executive, I appreciate it's when you are living with the people and fighting such an issue, then in the end, you become a victim. It's no fault of his, and we wish that God will give him a perfect peace. With the health minister too, we are wishing him speedy recovery. I understand now he's left the University of Ghana Medical Center to his home now, and he's following necessary precautions. We wish him well. And today, the NHIA pause. It's not a pleasant situation. Waking up in the morning and now hearing things like this. And especially they are all people on the front line, and they've committed themselves to work, and this is what happens to us. That is why, in my earlier statements, I made the point that the virus doesn't identify who you are. It happens, it comes as you meet it. And therefore, we should be candid about this and work effectively to make sure every citizen is protected, irrespective of where you are, irrespective of where you are coming from. Because the Shama MCE, the Second D Takoradi MCE, he comes from a family. And nobody will glorify this, that it is happening to a meteorological chief executive. And no, he has a family. He has a dependence ratio that relies on him. This virus, it's real. Look at what is happening now. We are wishing the woman well, but we are expecting government and its team to make sure that every Ghanaian is safe. They should put in every corrective measure. Whatever they are supposed to do, we have allocated huge sums of money to the government to fight the COVID. They should do its possible best and protect each and every individual.
But beyond government protecting us, don't we also have our own?
Yeah, I'm coming there. And as individuals, already the health minister told us some time ago that the virus has come to stay. Therefore, we should manage or learn how to live with it. We have a responsibility of taking good care of ourselves, like the measures that all institutions, individuals, even at home. As I came here this morning, there were so many protocols that I had to pass through, to get to where I'm sitting now. They are very good measures. We shouldn't forget ourselves that now the mighty are even falling. What about we, the small flies? It can happen to everybody. And Lawrence is talking about the NHI levy we left, debts we left, and they have come to pay. Before 2017, when we handed over, Ghana's debt was 120.3 billion. As I speak with you, on the 30th of March 2020, Ghana's debt has risen to over 236.1 billion, with nothing to show. Since time immemorial, or since Osadifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah's time, our debt was at 120.3 billion. And today, we are over 230 plus. Look at the accumulation, over 96% increment. What is there to show? We have the University of Ghana Medical Center, where it admitted the health minister. We have it to show. We have improved our health facility. We have done so much with the little that we got. Within that stretch, just within 3.5 years, this government has accumulated our debt over 96%. And she's talking about, and why are we doing this to ourselves? Within 3.5 years, you have received monies that no government has ever received.
I have to wrap you
so
up.
Please, they should get to work and stop using words, sophistry, rhetoric to deceive Ghanaians. NPP must work and protect every individual, irrespective of where the person is coming from. Being the NHIA boss, being the health minister, being whoever, being the ordinary person at the Malata market. Nana Adodanko Ekufuado has received so much in our name to protect that person. And as individuals, we must also take very good care of ourselves.
Thank you very much. We'll take a look at our final story. I'm reading from the Daily Graphic, and it has to do with the mass voter registration that will be taking place on the 30th of June. So it says here 33,367 to serve as registration centers. Exercise takes place in 5 phases. So all 33,367 polling stations across the country will be covered in the mass voters registration exercise, the Electoral Commission has assured. The EC said the exercise, scheduled to begin on June 30th, 2020, would be undertaken using the cluster system in 5 phases. 5 polling stations will form a cluster. The Deputy Commissioner in charge of Corporate Service, Dr. Bosman Eric Asare, told the Daily Graphic yesterday that the EC had procured 8,000 biometric voter registration kits, including backups to cover 33,367 polling stations across the country during the exercise. So, of course, the minority also had issues. So the minority leader, Honorable Haruna Idrisu, who addressed the media, said the move would not make available to many Ghanaians the legitimate and guaranteed rights they were entitled to under Article 42 of the Constitution to exercise their franchise. Besides, he said it would reduce voter registration centers, making it a recipe for a grave threat to the sustenance of competitive multi-party constitutional democracy in Ghana. So I'll hear both of your thoughts on this issue, and then we'll continue the conversation. I'll start with you, Loratu.
Jifa, before I even come to the issue of the...
briefly, though, because we don't have much time.
Yes, briefly, because Mago cannot just go with making sweeping statements. I mean, there's evidence to show of what the Nana Addo Dankwa-led administration is doing. At least, we've all seen children going to school. We've seen the testimonies. Money was used for that.
It's just 6 billion.
The one of factories that are being built, money was used for that. Right. The NAPCO, the graduate students, the graduates that they left on their own are under NAPCO. Money is being used for that. The NHIA levy, they left. The debt, they left. Money was used to pay for that. The ECG legacy debt of 2.63 billion that they left has been cleared. Money was used for that. Mago cannot sit down and say she doesn't see anything. She might probably refuse to see, And it is unfortunate. We are busy building a nation. We don't have time waking up people who are pretending to be sleeping.
Okay.
People who don't read and people
Thank
who
you.
listen.
Let's go on to
Ghanaians will be
the
back to the EC.
Yes.
We have been at this EC issue from 2019. It even predates that, from 2012, when we raised issues about the voter register. The issue is our voter register is not credible enough to use to run an election. The NDC agrees to that, we agree to that, other parties, political parties agree to that. What is the NDC's? I always say, what is the NDC's fixation with this register? What did they do with this register? That they, at every level, they want to hound the EC. They want to intimidate the EC. They want to run all kinds of accusations against the EC. I don't speak for the EC, but I believe with what the EC has done so far, I have confidence in the EC to do a good job. But at the end of the day, the EC cannot do a good job if we all, as stakeholders, major ones for that matter, support them in doing what they are supposed to do. NDC started with procurement issues. It was watered down by the EC. They went to all kinds of issues. This is a government that was in power, that we have our data center being controlled by someone in another country. Like I said in Akan, Ufie Petari Wanama Ebika, I would rather be comfortable. I won't sleep if I know that someone sitting in another jurisdiction is controlling data. I don't know what they'll be using my data for. Right. They started with those issues. It was there. Now you've taken the issue to court. You've abandoned your own issue in court. That one we are still. EC's registration. The EC has come out with a plan. Probably if they hadn't boycotted that IPAC meeting, they tried to rubbish. Probably they would have understood some of these issues, because it's a building thing. It's a process. Mm-hmm. What the EC is doing is a process. Then EC should calm down, bring out the patriotism in them, and let's all support the EC to do the job outlined to do. Just intimidation, harming, name calling will not do anyone any good. We are building institutions. We need to have confidence in institutions. The EC, will always say, was independent before 2016 election. That same EC is independent. Article 40, the article in the Constitution that mandates the EC hasn't been amended to my best of knowledge. Yeah. But the EC is still independent.
That's Article 42.
All
right, thank you very much, Larasu. So, Margaret, they are saying, the EC is saying that we're going to do a cluster system in 5 phases and starting off June 30th. Your thoughts on this?
Thank you very much, Ifa. And I don't know why the MPP always want to embarrass themselves.
Okay.
She is talking about we don't listen, we don't read. A party that wrote manifesto promises over 631 and is now running away from it. Okay. A party that doesn't know the difference, or doesn't know that if you promise someone a vision, it's still a promise. She is talking about we not listening and not reading. Please, they shouldn't meddle in certain, because now we've seen through them. Ghanaians have seen how dishonest, uncaring, insensitive governments they are. So they shouldn't go there. They are already seen. And with regards to EC, we are raising concerns to make Ghana's democracy better, to improve it. The Ghana's democracy that they left for us, where Jane Mensah is going, if care is not taken, she will destroy it.
How?
So if minority speaks to issue, points out legitimate concerns, it's incumbent on governments and its appointees to sit down and listen and solve the problems. Electoral Commission is not an island on its own. We did not give our power to Nana Akufo-Addo to appoint Jane Mensah to assume that she has all the knowledge in the world, so she's coming to work on her own. Jane Mensah, as the commission of the Electoral Commission, must work with other state institutions. An example is the Ghana Statistical Service. What is the Ghana's population? What is the census? Why? What kind of information, what data is the EC using going forward into this registration? The cluster registration, what informed it? We must know. We are paying them. They are working for us. They are not our bosses. And Jane Mensah is not a brain box where she cannot work with other institutions. The NDC, as a political party, has written officially to Ghana Statistical Service to know the number of people who are eligible voters to vote in this 2020 elections. So if Jane Mensah tells us that her estimate is around 50 million, what informed her decision? Media, you can find out. What, because we organized, or we had the 2012 register based on the 2010 census. So we adequately or accurately, we knew what we were working with. It is this EC that said they were going to register 300,000 new voters who have just turned 18. In the end, we registered 1.2 million people who have just turned 18, and those who probably couldn't have ID card initially. So she is capable of making mistakes. She has done it before. She has a history to that.
Okay.
Therefore, do the right thing. We as a political party, we know, we have written to the state institution which is responsible for our GDP, our data, everything. Why is Jane Mensah not working with them?
But now, June 30th is right around the corner. Shouldn't you just comply by now?
Why should we rush and do the wrong thing? In the end, if this thing, you are going to disenfranchise people, and if it causes any mayhem, or people takes the EC to court and destabilize our democracy, or decide that we will not allow her, do you think it will be good for us, or is then that we have to go back to the drawing board? Why don't we start it now?
Okay.
Isn't it better late than never?
All right.
What the EC is doing in 2012 under the experienced Dr. Afarijan, even the registration, just around 12,000 registrants, we use 40 days. Electoral Commission is estimating 15 million, yet she is using 38 days. You are going to leave about 6,300 polling stations. And with the cluster, it is difficult to identify or to challenge as a party agent, which is our responsibility. It's a condition towards representative democracy that we participate. Our agents cannot identify whether you are an eligible voter in that constituency because it's clustered. If it moves from your electoral area and you follow it to another place, the agents can't verify. This is a recipe or is a conduit to rig elections.
But they're going to phase it out. So what's the problem?
If I vote at maybe CTFM, we call it CTA. I vote here, and the cluster is working behind here, which is another name like B. The political parties reps, the agents there, because they are confined to their polling stations. How will they identify people who are not or qualified to vote? That is why we allow political parties to represent. Even at the EC's office, where we were supposed to be registering people on every Friday of the month, as we introduced by IPAC, we expected that political agents should be there. Party, it is not for the fun of it. It's a condition for democracy. Political parties give birth to democracy, and EC is there because of democracy. She should do the right thing. What the minority leader,
wrap up for us.
What the minority leader is saying from Dr. Farijan's time. Every time the Electoral Commission, anytime you want to embark on registration, you go before the floor of Parliament for questioning, then you explain. Why is Madam Jane Mensah, she doesn't, what is she afraid of? Now she's scared of Ghana's Parliament. Let's ensure and enforce that the right things are done, so that in the end, we will all accept the results when John Dramani Mahama is declared as the president. Nanado will eat a humble pie. We retire him, then he goes to sit down. Unlike doing things anyhow to bring mayhem to this country.
Thank you very much, Margot. So we have some messages from you guys. I'll read them briefly. Ankoma Foster from Achim says, the question, who have the power and mandate to register new voter ID and conduct elections? In 2016, the same political party was saying only the EC has the right to change and conduct elections. Ghana politics for you. This one is from Kwabla V of Pokwase. He says, now it is clear that the MPP government has lost the fight against COVID-19. More people are testing positive and more are dying. There is a cause for Ghanaians to fear and panic for coronavirus. Well, we're still doing well compared to other countries. All teacher unions must ensure that all teachers are tested for COVID-19 before classes begin to ensure safety. Though you might not inform government earlier, but it is very important, I beg you. We are rushing to schools without regard to teachers' safety. If doctors are dying, then teachers will die more. I am not begging for it, but the condition demand for it. I am very much afraid. This one is coming from Positive Change in Medina. Nobody's laying a claim of dishonesty against the government. Their own actions and inactions show so much dishonesty on their part as a government. It is not surprising that they are all running away from their own promises they made in opposition. Good morning, Jifa. Please kindly watch the tone of the MPP communicator. They should learn to be calm. Okay, this comes from Jack Sparrow. Awoku says NDC should stop the distortion of information and tell Ghanaians what they will do when they are voted for in 2080. COVID-19 is still in town. Protect yourself. Eben from Kwabenya says the problem of this country is NPP government and EC, and if care is not taken, they will plunge the country into serious trouble. It is time for all right-thinking and loving Ghanaians to voice out to save the country from future crisis. Thank you guys so much for your messages. Unfortunately, we have run out of time, so I can't read anymore, but thank you, Margaret and Say Mago, for being with us. She's the National Communications Team member of the NDC, as well as Laratu Musa Saka, who's also a National Communications Team member of the NPP.
$76,000 only to buy you a studio apartment in Accra. Why not come to Whaley for a spacious 2-bedroom apartment at Alphabet City, our brand new gated community situated right on top of the serene Sakomano Lagoon. Feeling like splashing a little? Check out our exclusive all-detached house gated community, the Jaden Symphonic next door. Sizes range from cozy 3 bedrooms to luxurious 5 bedrooms. We at Whaley are committed to provide you with the best building quality and value for money. In fact, we are the proud recipient of 2019's Quality Property Firm Award. We are offering discount up to 5% on Linjadin Symphony or 10% on Alphabet City, who makes a commitment in December. Call us now at 0240-111119 or 0504-499999 to secure your dream home now.
There is no promise we cannot keep. There is no commitment we cannot honor. There is no delivery we cannot guarantee. There is only one Bethel Logistics Company Limited, a licensed international freight forwarding and clearing agent, a trusted global brand with an extensive network for the movement of air freight and ocean freight worldwide. We are the trusted name for road freight into Western and Northern Africa. We are fully accredited by Ghana Customs and Excise. We cater for all your freight forwarding, customs clearing and forwarding, cross trades, inland transportation, internal cargo tracking systems, customer freight costing and consultancy, cold chain logistics management, logistics and warehousing, quality inspection, and much more. In Accra, Tema and Takrady, we are always available to ensure easy movement of cargo countrywide. Call us on 0204-528-900 or 0244-707-859. Email info@bethellogistics.com. Locate us in Accra at North Ridge, adjacent Accra Girls High School, or in Tema at Community 4, or in Takrady on the 2nd floor of the GCB building. Website bethellogistics.com. Bethelog, experts in shipping logistics.
That time was
when that word, work and happiness, came. So the workers, you go to work and 12 o'clock, they'll come for afternoon jump. At 2 o'clock, they go back to work.
No, that thing, the current generation, they don't understand. Afternoon jump.
Yeah, afternoon jump.
Where you go to work.
Yes.
And then at 1, you leave work and go to a club and go and jam. And then when you finish, you come back and continue.
Thank you.
Your release became a straight hit everywhere.
Straight up, because the musical aspect of it, and there was a dance to it too.
You remember the dance?
Oh yeah.
You want to demonstrate small?
Oh yeah, it's all about the qualities of the,
Charlie, give me the song, because we need to demonstrate this song, because you young ones, you think you get swag. See swag at 72. Is this one?
Yeah, I can do that with it. All right, And I went to Apollo. And when you enter into the Apollo, there's walls, 2 walls. And
you mean Apollo?
Yeah, Apollo Theater.
Yeah. No, here we call Apollo.
Okay, yeah. Over there they say Apollo.
Apollo, yeah. No, you be guy too much.
Yeah, you're right. Here we call it Apollo. Yeah, that's right. But I was able to set a record at Apollo.
Wow.
Because Apollo is a place that, it's not only one act.
Yeah.
So when you perform one song, you need to leave for the next act to come. I was able to do 2 songs at a go.
Wow.
Because when I was performing, all of a sudden, about 3 African-American girls, they jump on the stage, started to do my song thing with me. Then the whole, hey, everybody, hey. Then when we finished the music, then I said, do you want more? They said, yeah. Then I looked at the face of the promoter. He couldn't do nothing. He said, okay, go ahead.
Join your host, Samuel Atamensa, as he speaks to the first musician from Ghana to formally incorporate rap forms into local high-life rhythms, Jedubile Ambule. Footprint Show this Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. only on City TV. City TV, it's your world.
Footprints is sponsored by Bethel Logistics Company Limited, experts in shipping logistics.
Welcome back, and it's time for us to do the Consumer Tech segment, and we're going to have a conversation with Philippa Shaw, who is the host of City Trends and also the head of production here at City TV. He's going to help us to understand and get into some apps that are going to help us with managing finance. Good morning, Phil.
Well, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. We are going to look at generally technologies, generally, that help us be able to manage our finances. One of the first things that actually came to mind when we were thinking about this topic was how important this is. It's not technology as you would find with gadgetry and things like that, but one of the first things I think, or one of the most innovative things that ever happened to helping us manage our finances is this paper. Piece of paper. You have no idea how incredibly important a piece of paper is in managing your finances.
Okay, tell us. Take us into that.
From writing down the things that are running short at home, to writing down the things that you buy on a daily basis, to picking up receipts and keeping receipts that you can make reference to noting down things you are supposed to buy for people, to maintaining a budget. This is one of the most important pieces of the puzzle when it comes to managing your finances. A piece of paper. Wow. It can be as small as this, or it can be as big as a book, or it can be whatever. But a piece of paper for me is one of the most impactful starting points when it comes to using sort of some new kinds of technology to manage your finances. Okay. Now let's jump into the ones that we are more acquainted with, which is the gadgets and things like that. Your laptop or your tablet, if you have one, is also a very, very powerful platform to use to manage your finances. How so? It can either be as simple as using a notepad, you know, on your tablet, or a sticky note, or Excel spreadsheet, or a Word document. Okay. If you have any of these, you basically have a template upon which you can build. Now, a couple of things that I really want us to really remember. One of the most important things is creating a habit in terms of managing your finances. Okay. So, for example, you have a laptop. You don't have any fancy apps or anything or software on it, but you have Word, you have Excel. So open an Excel spreadsheet, and then in one side put groceries. In one column, put groceries. Put the prices that you are looking to spend on the groceries. In another side, you can put gadgets you want to buy. In another side, you're basically building a budget for yourself, for your home, for your small business, whichever. And based on the numbers that you put there, you are guiding yourself as to what to buy. You can include when to buy it, how often you want to buy it, and things like that. How long it takes, for example, for those resources that you have planned for to finish, when you intend to replenish, things like that. At the end of the day, these simple notes that you make will eventually help you to get a good sense of how much money you're spending, how much you intend to spend, or how much you even should be spending. Sometimes we buy, I don't know, like a whole carton of milk, and we realize we don't really need that much anyway. Or we buy some stuff and then it's at home, we realize that we really don't have any need for it. When you make such notes about what you're spending, when you go back to those notes, you get to figure out, okay, so I really don't need 12 pieces of pineapple or whatever every month. I probably need 5 or 3, depending on the consumption levels in the home. And so when you make these notes, it helps. And it doesn't matter what the size of the laptop is or the capacity of the computing power or whatever of the machine is. But these very simple things go a long way to help you to be able to manage your finances and manage them very well. The thing I like to say though is that it is a bit of work if you want to manage. But then they say that a life that, you know, is properly not checked and maintained and in terms of documented, you can't really live a proper life. So one of the other things I would like to say is, aside setting reminders and noting down the things, find a way to sort of get into the habit of actually writing these things down. When you write them down frequently, it becomes a habit, and then you start noting everything that you buy. Some of the things you probably buy on the streets, like in Trotsky, and you're going home and you decide to buy some ice cream or something like that. It's very easy for these things to skip you. But then, for example, if you set 5 cedis a week to buy ice cream, you know that every week I'm spending 5 cedis. So it doesn't really matter how many ice creams you choose to buy. You just know that I've set aside 5 cedis to buy ice cream. And so sometimes the little things that you buy really escape you, but then when you sort of have a certain number in mind, a general limit in mind, it really helps. So one of the other things is, it's very easy sometimes to forget about certain payments you need to make. And so as part of the notes that you make, you can have monthly payments. So you pay for ECG, you pay for water, you pay for DSTV. Have a segment where you say monthly payments. If you want to pay for insurance or something, you have all of that listed, and you know how much you've allocated to that. And that one really doesn't necessarily have to take so much. It can be either on a sticky note, or it can be in a Word document, Excel spreadsheet, any of these platforms, so far as you can write you basically can get some work done on it. Then comes the other side where a lot of people really like, which is what can you do with your mobile device or with your tablet? What apps are available on the market that can easily help you to be able to manage your finances? The first one is a very interesting app. It's called Mint.com, MINT.com.
Okay.
Now, Mint.com basically is both a platform in terms of a website and then a mobile app. So it has a website version and then it has a mobile app. Now, this is the website version of it. What it basically does is it doesn't just help you note how much you're spending. It actually does a lot of things all in one. And it says all-in-one finances, creating budgets for the home. If you are in the US, then credit scores will be important to you. But then basically, getting all your money, what you're spending, how much is coming in, all of that in one place, this is a great way to do that. You can see there, you can list all your bills that you typically pay. You can list all of them and then allocate amounts to it as and when you make those payments. It's also very, very secure. And it comes really, really highly recommended. Any searches that you make about a management app, any searches that you make about management app goes a long way to really help you to, in terms of, so Mint.com.
Mint.com.
The very first one I would like to highlight.
All right, so super. We're talking about Mint.com, a website that can help us to sort out all your finances and properly lay out what it is that you need there. If you're watching us and watching what's going on here, kindly use the hashtag Breakfast Daily if you have any comments to make. If you have any comments to make, and we also have a WhatsApp line as well.
That there is Mint.com. The second one I would like listeners or viewers to take a look at is Money Lover.
Money Lover?
Yes,
okay.
Money Lover. I fell in love with Money Lover last year, and it's been my go-to app for basically managing finances. That is Money Lover. Sort of runs along the same lines of Mint. But I like Money Lover because, well, it kind of is much easier to manage as a mobile app.
So it's an app?
Yes.
Okay.
It's an app, and it's, you can also interact with this on the website as well.
Okay.
But I think that you should go with the app,
okay.
more or less. As you can see, available both on tablets and on your phones as well. It's simply a money tracking platform. Anything that you want in terms of creating a budget, in terms of keeping track of how much money you're spending and all of that. But you see, at the end of the day, it comes back to that point of the discipline of actually noting how much money you are spending. Because there's no point not having, there's no point downloading all these things or getting all these notes done if you're not going to commit to writing what you actually spend. Because if you don't know how much you're spending, then what are you really planning for? How much are you saving, for example? If I cut down, for example, by 10% of how much I spend on groceries, can I reallocate that amount of money to paying A bill or B bill? And it's only when you actually document these things. Now, these mobile apps have a bit of an advantage over the writing because you can actually do assessment over a period. So let's say you can check with the app, okay, so how much have I spent in terms of groceries for the last 3 months? It can give you a good accurate figure based on how much information you've put in. Sometimes it's a bit cumbersome when you have to go and look for other papers and things like that. So that is understandable. But then if you have some of these apps, if you use the website, for example, to basically log all of this information, it's easier for you to generate a lot of this information that you might be looking for, which gives you a good idea of what your expenditure is like, and then also how you can reallocate certain funds that are probably going into things that you don't typically need, but then you would probably want to reallocate to something else. So for me, these are the very simple things. At the base of it, there needs to be a certain discipline. You need to be disciplined to understand that if you don't keep track of what you're spending, there is no way you can manage your finances. You need to keep track.
So that's the key.
That for me is at the heart of it. If you can be able to maintain a certain discipline, just to note, okay, so every month, and I mean, sometimes the nitty-gritty of the everyday can really be overwhelming, and so you might forget to make, you know, certain notes. It's understandable. But then, for example, if you tell yourself every month I'm going to allocate 10 cedis to buying fruits, or I'm going to, you know, dedicate 50 cedis to buying fruits, 100 cedis for lunch, and things like that, you know, this is the figure that you're supposed to spend. Yeah. What some people then do is they allocate the amount of money in different envelopes and things like, just to help maintain the discipline. But what is important is the discipline. The discipline of when you have the mobile app. It can be a mobile app sitting on your phone, not doing anything until you put the information in. That's when it can generate all these insights about how much money you're spending here as against, you know, something else. So the discipline for me is the most important thing. If you want to help yourself manage your finances, the discipline is the most important thing. All these other things that we talked about are just complementary to that discipline. And so, yeah, just putting all of that in perspective.
The challenges sometimes I find, for example, and why I think your suggestion of even as basic as a piece of paper is important, is looking at the fact that, for example, you go and you buy, I mean, recently I went and saw some light bulbs, you know, in a shop. And I was so surprised by, number one, the power wattage on the bulb was really low, 6 watts. Okay? And it's very bright. So for 6 watts, very bright, I'm like, this is you know,
an LED light or something.
Yes, it's an LED light. Okay? So then I'm looking at the cost, and there's 6 of them for 30 Ghana cedis. I'm like, this is a steal.
You see, and a lot of people will not consider the wattage, for example, will not consider how much they bought. For example, if someone asks you right off the bat, how much did you buy your last light bulb? It most likely won't come to you. But if you have these notes down, you can easily make a reference. If you, for example, have noted what that light bulb was, what sort of wattage it was, how much you ended up paying. So if, for example, after 3 months of switching to this new one, you can be able to tell, okay, so 3 months ago I was using
on power.
You know, I was using this kind of light bulb. I bought this other new light bulb, and now I'm spending either much less or much higher. Then you can make proper financial decisions. But then if you don't note them down, you are basically just flying blind and hoping that something will work out. And that unfortunately happens to a lot of people. It happens to a lot of people.
The other thing that I was thinking about as you're talking also was the fact that when we go out to buy stuff, right? I grew up with parents who believed in stocking up because it tends to be cheaper, over time. But then I think what it is that you have to be careful what you're stocking up. In the sense that some things are perishable. So you don't just stock up everything, you know. So I like the example you gave with the pineapple. I mean, if you go and buy it and you go and buy 20 of them and you discover that, you know, you only had 2 weeks, you know, and
you know, but and that's a very fair point, because what then happens is, like I said, if you don't measure and you don't basically write it down, you will probably not be disciplined enough to understand how much you're supposed to. Because look, if you buy 5 and you end up enjoying only 2 over a 3-month period, you should be able to know that the 5 is not working.
Absolutely.
The 5 is not working, no matter how much you stock up. If you buy 12 tins of milk and you use only 5 or 6, you should be able to understand that consistently over this period of time, this is how much we actually use. It's either we use 5 or 3 or 4, and that should be able to help you to manage the little finances that you might have. This pandemic has really taught us a lot about managing the little that we have. And some of these things help you to save a lot of money. But once again, at the end of the day, if you don't have the discipline,
it's the discipline.
If you don't have the discipline to note how much you're spending, to sometimes even track back on the expenditure. Look, you are just going to run blind, and it's all going to be based on hope. And really, you are going to end up back to square one of still trying to figure out what to do with your finances. So for me, the discipline is one. All these technologies and innovations are just complementary
to that discipline.
To the discipline.
Yeah,
absolutely fantastic. Thank you very much. I personally got a bit of clarity on some things that I need to sort out myself. So yeah. Well, if you've enjoyed this segment of the show, kindly let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. We would like to find out what your thoughts are. What's your preference? If you prefer to use a piece of paper to go through your notes, jot things down, go back and refer, or you want to use maybe Excel sheet or an app like Money Lover. And then the other app, the first app was?
Mint.com.
Mint.com.
Okay. If you go to the Play Stores or the App Stores, just look for Mint or Money Lover on any of them, and you should be able to get it.
Super. All right. Thank you very much, Philip Pashong. Philip is the host of City Trends on City 97.3 FM and also the head of production here at City TV. We're going to be back with Hello, Mr. President. But before we do that, let's take a look at this week's entertainment highlights.
Welcome to Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina. Cartel Big J of Prior's fame has lashed out at Shatta Wale for disrespecting Ghanaian musicians and tagging them as poor. In an Instagram post, Cartel Big J, otherwise known as Prior Tetia, advised Shatta Wale to respect the people who sacrificed to pave way for him in the music industry. He said upon all his noise, Shatta Wale would not be counted among the top 10 richest musicians in Nigeria. He stated that Nigerian musicians, Davido and Wizkid, who are part of the richest musicians in Africa, won't disrespect their predecessors like Shatta Wale does. He argued that a lot of musicians in the country are happy and content with what they have, so he should stop disrespecting and ridiculing them. The nominees for the 2020 BET Awards are out. To the disappointment of most Ghanaians, no Ghanaian-based musician secured a nomination in this year's edition. Nigeria's Burna Boy, South Africa's Shoma Josie, Dave and Stormzy from the UK, Enos B from Democratic Republic of Congo, Nino and SPR Noir, both from France, had nominations in the Best International Acts category. In the past years, some Ghanaian artists who have gained nominations in the BET Awards are Sarkodie, Miss V, D Black, Chrissy Arthur, and Stonebwoy. The 2020 BET Awards will, however, move forward in a virtual format on Sunday, the 28th of June, 2020. Producer Shirley Frimpong-Mansour's 2019 movie The Perfect Picture 10 years later is set to hit the popular streaming platform Netflix. The movie is a sequel to The Perfect Picture, which was released in 2009. The original film was about three women hitting their 30s and making bold attempts to change their lives, but destiny had other plans for them. Now in the sequel, the story of the three beautiful friends, Aseye, played by Jackie Appiah, Dede by Lydia Fawcett, and Akese by Na Ashoko Mensah Doku continues. The Perfect Picture 10 years later will join the streaming site in July, and this is the second movie from the celebrated producer and director to make it to Netflix. And that's all for Entertainment Highlights on Breakfast Daily. My name is Ato Kwamina.
Hello, my name is Samuel Ofori, a film actor and a film director. Because of the nature of my job, the taste for quality things is endless. Quality phones, quality laptops, quality TV sets. Let me show you my secret. Here is Franco Trading Enterprise. My secret for quality laptops, quality phones, quality TV sets. Accessories, come on, external hard drive, pen drive, name it. For bulk purchase and retails, come to Franco Trading Enterprise. They'll reduce the price for you. Franco Trading Enterprise, home quality phones.
Welcome back. It's Breakfast Daily on City TV. Thank you so much for staying with us. It is now time for Hello, Mr. President. A lot of you sent in your videos and messages to the email hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. So we'll take a look at the first message and then continue the conversation.
Of the 2016 election campaign, the president made it clear that he will stomp out the activities of land guards in the country, especially within Accra and its environs. The promise as it was made doesn't seem to be working. Several actions of some leaders who are supposed to see to it that the words from the president are put into action seem to be in bed with the perpetrators of this same act of landguardism. The actions of some police commanders and some people at the helm of affairs sometimes seems to rather promote landguard activities instead of kicking it out of the system. The actions of the Eastern Regional Lands Officer and the new Joburg North Municipal Police Commander is making life difficult and frustrating for innocent people living at Efidiase Chichire. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, houses of people in the area were demolished without prior notice to residents of the area. All efforts made for intervention have yielded no positive results. Most people in the area have lost their homes and are displaced as a result. They live in fear and panic. As a citizen, it is sad when those agencies mandated by law cannot protect its own, but rather support some individuals to perpetrate crime against others. Hello, Mr. President. I am appealing to you to call public officers making life frustrating to order. Every life is precious. Thank you. My name is Ofori Amanfo.
So that's a message from Ofori Amanfo, and we went to that community he's referring to hear what other people are experiencing. We'll take a look at exactly what they said and then continue.
Efidiase Chichire is a developing area in the new Joburg North municipality. Residents say they acquired the lands from farmers and families who used to engage in farming on the government-vested land. But for some time now, land guards have increased their activities in the area. According to residents, over 46 structures claiming ownership of the over 40 acres of land. A visit by City News to the area saw complete houses, churches, and a mission house in the area completely destroyed. Albert Johnson, a senior pastor of the House of Christ Prayer Chapel, had his church pulled down with musical instruments also damaged.
Yeah, so we were then worshiping in a classroom. So we came and built this structure. But this year, that was 5th March. I was here when some police officers and a man called Oseka Kari and some guys came here. And they were being escorted by police officers. And they came demolishing the structures here. And so what you are seeing is what they have done, and some of the instruments which we have been using in the church auditorium, they destroyed everything. Since then, we were not having peace here. Day in and day out, even this morning, I saw some of his people around this place. The moment they see you here, then they'll be threatening you, and so on and so forth. So this is what exactly is happening here.
The pastor's wife, Dorcas Johnson, narrated how she was pulled out of her room together with her baby before a bulldozer demolished their home.
Oh, Sadana Jana, Anopa tutu na masori anopa me sorry me share me mwa ntina me baby me nkoko. Na police for no ne kakari omba ha na police ni ka che me say madam on park mo ne ma na ye bebu dan no. Na mza so bebu dan ben. O see e ba bebu dan no na kakari we ni court case. Na say ni court case bia na say na ka che na me say nyame pa na me penye ho na me de me job ho na me ko bie me nkoko na me ko enti kakra no msa mba busa me say me kunu we na me say me kunu ni ho yam park ne ma no na busa say yam park ne ma no enko he o say mu be buda enti yam park ne ma na me sijo ti man kasa enti na me kunu so wo inside bomb paye enti ba mo ehu say omo ho enti anche na bulldozer no baaye. Before then, no the police tundra car kese na buy. But I'm meaning police ni ba ko bi wom e wo Galawe. Into on buy na be ka cha me say, Docas, mon park ne ma na me say men park ne ma enko he. Na sorry dan ya ye be park ne ma ba mu no. Mo bubu a sorry dan na ha so a ye betina so say bubu. Into na ma chechire me back to a we shemachi. E na me ko fa bed na me da so wo dem na police for mienu. Eru adem o say mi mpie madam mi mpie na me say mi mpie. Nti omumbu engu yenso ala omuso mensa na omudi mepie no mubu edan.
Samuel Osafo Diodu, is also a landowner who was attacked by land guards.
Nti me kono na de me ne ko dan bi wo kwa no so. Tamo bubu dan na nu ya ntwen picture. E na oya so obetwa ne picture na ya sa akokoro de aka ye record ye wo ho. Otwa picture ni wie se pe. E na Isaac ene ne wo fa ase baako oni de minim din of Fitamaneba. Asare ono beto share do twa picture na no. Me so na me friend so meja me nti se ne ho tochima me na ombe brem me. Nti me ye se me kwakọ ye. Asama nka che se delete ni nyema ne firi so nya se betwitwa se si a tika so kura oni ma amode ba ne so. Nti me so na me yam hyehye me. Ti me ko ye se ofa camera no phone ni ma me na me mfen ko. Me ye se me gi se pe ene ka Isaac ni butu me. Na me se Isaac una me na butu me se o se me butu a ya san wo obetima ya me den. Afa me den mani no asima sum wo. Ne wafa ayi ni nua ba akono nso e frena Asare no no apem kokko una aka kire me se me na ye kronfo nam se ye nu tro o ye Jeremiah ya jere ni pen e ye record the David so bi anim enu nti na ne ba timi abefa sase almost be 40 acres of land I was in the papa in the tomano.
Kwabna Ejay Entry, another affected resident, wants government and appropriate agency to ensure that justice is served.
The appropriate authorities, the security agencies, the police, the Lands Commission, the statutory organization which is in charge of lands in the country, who has given us the necessary document to support our acquisition of this thing, to stand out to the this thing. Because we've been to the place, they say, oh yes, we've not bought this thing. The land is a vested land. It's in the hands of the government, so they have the right. They don't know Osei Kakari, they don't know anyone. So it's the woman whom we paid compensation, for the land. Is the right person that we should pay that compensation. Then we don't understand why they will also sit aloof and let this kind of mayhem go on. So we are pleading. Because should in case if I also engage land gas, as others are planning to do, is it not bloodbath? Is it not, this thing which is going to occur here? Is that what the state wants? Is that what the police want?
Superintendent Jabbar David, the Eastern Regional Crime Officer who spoke to City News via phone, only indicated that the land dispute is a matter before the court. The New Jaben North Municipal Assembly is however tight-lipped about the development.
Residents of Esfijasi Chichire in the New Jaben North Municipality are calling on government, the Lands Commission, the Ghana Police Service and other state agencies to look into the activities of land guards here, which according to them has been a threat on their lives and the lives of their family. For City News, Neoni Amati Kanaku, Afijasi Kofaridia, Eastern Region. Is your land far from here?
So that's what's happening in Fijasi Chichira in the Eastern Region. Now, owning a land is supposed to be one of your proudest moments. A lot of people save up monies for a long time to acquire a land. You go get the land, and even the process of getting the land is so bureaucratic that people prefer to just deal with the owners of the land themselves. And then there comes the problem. Someone sells you the land. The same owner of the land will go and sell it to 3-4 other people. They see that you are starting to build on it, and then they hire these thugs to come drive you off your land. And one will ask, where are the police service in all of this? How are these young men able to feel so empowered that they will walk into your land, they will come to your land, a land that you own, and threaten to harm you, throw you out, destroy your property? There are people who have shared stories of paying 4 to 5 times more than whatever it is they originally paid for because of land guards. And these same land guards are continuing to do whatever it is that they are doing to the people of the community, and nothing is happening to them. And they are just thugs. They should be in jail. But why are they not in jail? We heard from the pastor, we've heard from his wife. Their young child has to deal with this kind of violence on their own land, a land that they've paid for? Is it an issue of corruption? Is it an issue of greed? What exactly is going on that's, encouraging this kind of activity to happen? And then you hear these same young men being paid by politicians to, do their bidding for them when it's time for an election. So is it because our security agencies are so afraid of land guards? Because the people who granted this interview are actually very fearless. You walk into certain communities and people are afraid to even tell you what they are experiencing because they're afraid these land guards will come and kill them. How are we supposed to grow as a people if we have to live with these thugs who are being empowered by very powerful people in our communities? And the police is aware of this and they are ignoring it. We tried to get a hold of some of the leaders in that community, but we couldn't get them. But this shouldn't be the case. The process of getting a land should be so seamless that people can actually boast of going into the office, they got their right documentation, the land belongs to them, no thug will come in and harass them because some greedy landowner thinks they can sell that same land to 3-4 people and nothing will happen. So we hope that the people of this community and the country at large will find the solutions that we need, and we nip this in the bud. It's not enough to just focus on vigilantism. We need to do something about this land guard problem. If you have a similar issue in your community that you want to share with us, let us know with the hashtag Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. And if you're also experiencing some hardship in your community and you want us to bring the nation's attention to it and you want to talk to the president directly, please take out your phone and show us a video of exactly what's going on in your community. It could just be 1 minute of letting the president know that, Mr. President, this is what's going on in my community and this is why this thing is hindering my growth. How am I supposed to raise a family when I have to deal with thugs trying to kill me in my home? How am I supposed to contribute positively to the development of this country when I'm always looking over my shoulder over a land I've already paid for and own? Send that video to us. The email is hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com. You can also send us a message, but make sure it's very brief, up to 250 words, to the same email, hellomrpresidenttv@gmail.com, and we will show the entire country and the world exactly what is going on in your community and who should be responding to it. We received more messages, so we'll take a look at our next message.
Hello, Mr. President. I am confident my meal will find you in good health. Unfortunately for me, I am gradually dying with end-stage kidney failure. I was diagnosed with this disease about a year ago and have since been on dialysis at Tamale Teaching Hospital. I commute twice a week from Waliwali. My problem is that there are not many dialysis centers to treat kidney patients, putting pressure on the few available ones. The cost per dialysis session is very exorbitant. This has made it excruciatingly difficult to consider a transplant, even if it was remotely possible. And families are unable to provide social support for this condition long term due to financial constraints. Ever since I started dialysis, my brother spends on an average 3,500 Ghana cedis a month to keep me alive. I am an unemployed driver gripped with the fear of death. Since all his resources have run dry, I have made efforts to appeal for support from my community, but this has not yielded anything yet. Your Excellency, it is my hope that you support me to keep me alive, to contribute to developing my motherland while efforts are made to address the systematic problems in our health systems, especially those that are kidney related. Thank you. This is Citizen Abdullah Natoma, Waliwali, Northeast Region.
Now, this is a young man who has a lot to live for. I mean, no one calls for a kidney disease. But shouldn't we be in a country where we can provide some sort of subsidies for young people like this who have to deal with such a terminal disease? Every day on social media, we hear stories from people suffering from such diseases, pleading with the general public to help them raise funds. In other parts of the world, there will be some special kind of package for people dealing with this so that they know that I don't have to die simply because I can't afford the health service I need to get back on my feet. His family is doing the best they can. They are paying over 3,000 cedis every month. He's a taxi driver. Where is he going to get the money from to sustain that kind of expense? And should he just die because we can't afford to take care of him as a country, as a society, as a people? We need to get our health system to a point where we can say, yes, we have the NHIA, we have the NHIS, we're taking care of basic things. But if someone catches some of these things, kidney diseases, cancer, other forms of illnesses that are so terminal that if you don't address them, the person could die. And if such person cannot afford it, they shouldn't just die. We should actually feel as though we failed when we lose a life to such an illness through no fault of the person, but because they could not afford it. It's no longer okay for young Ghanaians who have so much to give to this country. They are already sick. The psychological impact alone is enough. The only thing they should be focusing on is getting back to being healed, not taking pictures of their state, not showing the entire world the impact this health problem has had on them, to raise funds to take care of themselves. That's like double trauma for the patient, all because we've not done well to at least try and subsidize the cost, even if it's 20%, 30%, and this person gets their life back. It means something. A couple of months ago, the president told the nation that he would rather safeguard our lives than say, I'm going to focus on the economy. The same principle should apply when someone is suffering from a kidney disease and they're all the way up north. A taxi driver, how much does he make a month? How long can his family continue, helping him through this process when there's no money coming in, no support coming? I strongly believe that the Ghana Health Service could do more, and we as a people could also do more, especially for the people who are the most vulnerable amongst us and cannot afford to pay for these services. If you also have a family member who experienced something similar and you would want us to know, please share the story with us. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana and you're hearing of these stories and you have a different kind of experience where you are, where your citizens won't have to die because they have a kidney disease, or they don't have to expose themselves on social media, share their health issues to raise money, and there's actually a way of doing it differently where they can save their lives, let us know the experience. The country code is +233. If you are in your community and you're also experiencing something terrible, is it your road? Is it your health? Have you not been paid by a specific government agency that you're supposed to be paid by now? Let us know. Just take out your phone and record up to 1 minute video. We want to see exactly what's happening within your community. We want to hold the people that are supposed to serve you accountable. And we're giving you an opportunity to speak directly to the president. The email to use is hello-mr-president-tv@gmail.com. The WhatsApp number to send the video to is 0550-585832. If you want to send a text, make it very brief. Send the message to us up to 250 words to the same email, hello-mr-president-tv@gmail.com, or text us at hello-mr-president-tv@gmail.com. Young people in this country should not have to die because they can't afford health care. That shouldn't happen. This young man up north shouldn't have to send in a message and expose his health status. His status should be between him and his doctor. It shouldn't be between him and the entire world, because if he doesn't do that, he will die. But this is the reality that a lot of people are faced with in this country. Do I expose my health status with the whole world to raise funds to cure me, or do I stay silent and die because I don't have any coverage? As a taxi driver, I'm sure he makes no more than 500, 600 cedis a week at most. How is he going to foot the bill of 3,500 cedis consistently? How have we allowed this problem go on for so long without doing anything about it? And for how long do we have to lose more lives to kidney diseases, to cancer, to other illnesses, just because people can't afford it? If he had been in another country, maybe he could buy 10, 20, 30 extra years because he can afford the health care that he needs to heal. It shouldn't be the case that we are losing lives in this country because people can't afford it. Let it be said that we lost the life because doctors did everything they could and there was nothing more they could have done. But not because we had the means to treat the patient, but because they couldn't afford it. What does it take to subsidize some of these services for people who are the most vulnerable amongst us? Still an interactive show, so if you have someone who has a similar experience, let us know. The hashtag is Breakfast Daily. The WhatsApp line is 0550-585832. If you're outside Ghana, the country code is +233. Today we focused more on security issues. Young Ghanaians, older generation people going out to get lands. When you acquire a land, that's supposed to be a very important moment of your life. You've saved up so much that you don't have to pay rent anymore. You own that land. Before you even start building on it, people will come and harass you. Thugs, not even policemen coming in to say that you acquired the land illegally. No, the thugs are aware that you are the rightful owner of this land. But because they know that they can do whatever they want and no one will hold them accountable, or because they have some political godfather somewhere who will protect them, they walk onto your land and they threaten you, they harm you, they abuse you. And it's become so normal that you walk into some places, you ask them, are you dealing with issues of land guard? And they tell you, yes, but I'm afraid I can't talk because if they see me on TV, they might kill me. And you're asking yourself, what exactly is the security agencies? What are they doing about it? How are these thugs so empowered that they can do whatever it is that they want? We can't continue like this. And then we hear from a young taxi driver up north. No support. Are we going to lose him to kidney disease because he can't afford it? We're going to speak to a doctor about exactly what's going on, but we'll take that message again and then we'll hear from the doctor.
Hello, Mr. President. I am confident my meal will find you in good health. Unfortunately for me, I am gradually dying with end-stage kidney failure. I was diagnosed with this disease about a year ago and have since been on dialysis at Tamale Teaching Hospital. I commute twice a week from Waliwali. My problem is that there are not many dialysis centers to treat kidney patients, putting pressure on the few available ones. The cost per dialysis session is very exorbitant. This has made it excruciatingly difficult to consider a transplant, even if it was remotely possible. And families are unable to provide social support for this condition long term due to financial constraints. Ever since I started dialysis, my brother spends on an average 3,500 Ghana cedis a month to keep me alive. I am an unemployed driver gripped with the fear of death. Since all his resources have run dry, I have made efforts to appeal for support from my community, but this has not yielded anything yet. Your Excellency, it is my hope that you support me to keep me alive, to contribute to developing my motherland while efforts are made to address the systematic problems in our health systems, especially those that are kidney related. Thank you. This is Citizen Abdullah Natuma, Waliwali, Northeast Region.
Okay, that's from Citizen Abdullah, and we hope that he'll be well. We do have Dr. Justice Jansen, who is the General Secretary of the Ghana Medical Association, with us. He'll help us understand this problem a bit better. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well.
Thank you so much for being with us. Can you explain exactly what's going on with kidney patients who are not able to pay for their health service?
Well, just like Citizen said, there aren't enough centers that can manage kidney diseases, and that is a challenge. The second is that the costs involved at this point is also out of reach of quite a large chunk of the people who have kidney problems. It's something that, depending on what the issues are, you may have to be on dialysis for long term. In some situations, the dialysis sessions are just short term, acute situations, it is resolved and life is okay. But for a large majority of the people, especially those with chronic kidney diseases, end stage, stuff like that, they have to be on dialysis for the rest of their lives until they get kidney replacement, if they are so lucky to get one. Now, when it comes to the centers that are able to run dialysis, as a country, like I said earlier, we don't have a lot, and we need to double our efforts in that direction. But it is not just a question of the dialysis machines not being available, but also the right mix of professionals, especially doctors trained in the area of renal disease. So here we are talking about renal physicians in particular. We also don't seem to have a lot of them. And even if we should get a lot more centers now, we may also have constraints with the requisite manpower.
Doc,
so it's a very big problem that it's a very big problem that has to be tackled head on.
Okay.
Ensuring that a lot more doctors get postgraduate education, especially in the area of renal medicine. And then, of course, we also need to get a lot more of the facilities into the system.
Okay.
Then we can also start talking about the cost involved.
Yes. So when it comes to the cost, what's the role of the state in ensuring that patients like citizens would at least get some subsidies so that they don't have to die from a kidney disease?
Well, this has to be based on national policy. As we speak now, dialysis is not part of the health insurance, for which reason, the national health insurance. So generally speaking, individuals will have to bear their own cost unless probably they have some corporate entity supporting them, or maybe they have a private health insurance that covers the area of dialysis. But generally, the state owes every citizen a responsibility to provide at least the basic health care. And that is what is enshrined in our constitution. Now, renal disease has more or less become like a specialized area. And some may argue that it goes beyond basic health care, which to a large extent they are right. But it also still borders on the life of the citizen. So we will need to find a nice mix or blend such that the state will probably find a way of supporting some of these patients. We could, for example, set up a fund specifically for kidney diseases. Then that fund then goes to support the treatment of patients who are on dialysis. We could look at a situation where maybe we explore ways of getting it to be part of the health insurance. But if you look at the cost involved, probably looking at the resources of the health insurance, I don't speak for them though. Maybe some may argue it may be too much, but at least we can have a middle way where there could be some partial form of funding for such patients. So it's a discussion that we need to really talk about properly. We need to look at the healthcare financing implications and then have a unique model that will help ensure that patients who are suffering from renal disease and require dialysis will get the necessary support from the states and well-meaning Ghanaians.
Thank you very much. Dr. Justice Yankson is the General Secretary for the Ghana Medical Association. And as you heard there, even if the states can't take up the cost, we can at least set up a special fund, just as we've done with the COVID-19 fund, and then we can all contribute to take care of the most vulnerable amongst us who are dealing with diseases like the kidney disease. There's absolutely no reason why a young Ghanaian should die because they couldn't afford to take care of themselves. Again, this is Hello, Mr. President segment of Breakfast Daily. If you're experiencing any issues in your community and you want to draw the attention to policymakers and the president, take out your phone and just record it for us or send us a direct message. The email to send it to is hello-mrpresidenttv@gmail.com. You can also send to us at our WhatsApp line 0550585832. Thank you guys so much for staying with us for this segment. We will be right back. So much for staying with us.
Yeah, that was quite emotional there. Citizen Antoma, that's tough. That's tough. 3,500 cedis every month.
Yeah.
And how much more can you ask of your family, than that? So this state needs to come in. Mr. President, it's on your desk. Let's see what you can do about it.
Yeah. But thank you guys so much for staying with us throughout the show. It's been amazing. Don't forget, Keyboard Idol is still ongoing. We have how many days to go? 9 days?
9 days, yeah.
Okay, you have 9 days, to go. If you have a child who's below 15 years old, let them participate for a chance to win 10,000 Ghana cedis. It's a lot of money, and the exposure alone will take you far. So just call us at 0558-973-973 for more information.
Absolutely. And the on-air series is still going on City 97.3 FM, so don't miss it. It's every morning at 9 o'clock. And on City TV, of course, we had agribusiness yesterday, and next week, Tuesday at 11 a.m. exactly, we'll be talking about export trade.
Definitely. And if you want to join, you know what to do. Call us at 0205-973-973 to register. Registration is absolutely free. Well,
fantastic.
It's been a great show.
It's been a super show.
My name is Juva Eke.
And I'm David Kwekusechi.
Stay safe. Enjoy your day. We'll see you at 7:30 tomorrow.
Take
Bye.
Care. Bye-bye.